Good evening, and welcome to another episode of The Take on the College Football Mafia Network. We are talking coaching carousel from hell. We're going to play some games tonight. You guys get to vote on some stuff tonight. I think you'll really enjoy it. I am joined tonight by the rest of the Big Ten Mafia crew. Of course, Becky Go Huskies. How are you doing tonight, Becky?
I'm good.
Fantastic. And that bearded mountain man, the Doom Turtle himself, Sergeant Pickles, all the way from the backwoods of Washington. How are you doing tonight, Pickles?
Yeah, as you rightly pointed out, Mo, and I didn't pay for all this extra sunlight. That's a little out of place.
Yeah, I told him that I didn't know that prohibition on sunlight had ended yet in Washington. So,
very soon.
Very soon. Very soon. Let's say hello to some people in here. We're going to talk coaching carousel, but we got a lot of stuff on the line here. We got Buckshot Kid was first. He said, "Oh, hey, Moen." I replied back, "Oh, hey, Buckshot Kid." The Big Lubbock was first. Where is Mike Gundy's plane? Chill out. I promise we have a Mike Gundy plane. I promise. Gundy is a man. He's 56 or 57 years old now. He walked. Daniel Gygax is in the house. He says, "Hi, everyone." Evil Badger Ryan Willie is in the house. Good to see you, Ryan. We're going to be talking about fickle, and if that's fickle or not.
I was about to say if Ryan can cast his vote, if he's ready to hop on the carousel yet.
And for the love of God, tell them monkey tastes just like pork. Devil Frog, how do you know what monkey tastes like? That's a little frightening. Buckshot Kid says, "Oh, hey, again, Moen, good to see you." Skevin Yes says, "Hello, gentlemen and Miss Becky." Bob Swanger's in the house, Penn State. Figure out where Franklin's landing. Figure out who's coming to Penn State, too, maybe. Mr. Ed Wayner's in the house. He says, "Franklin to Virginia Tech." Could be.
I've seen that one.
Could be. Hello, guys from beautiful North Carolina. Gundy is 58, so I was close. Jungle survival in Indonesia, brother. Devil Frog's got a pretty damn good backstory.
Yeah, it sounds like my fellow Marine was doing some Mew cruises in the Pacific.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. We're not going to get into any classified information like that tonight, Devil Frog. By the way, I want to thank everybody who's come in here to join us. If you have not done so yet, please give us a like. If you're new to the channel, give us a subscribe. Those things help us out. They are free. If you want to give us a little money to help us keep the lights on here and keep paying StreamYard, you can click the little cash icon in the chat window. From there, you can leave us a super chat. You can gift a membership. You can become a member. We got some great members-only content and member-only emotes. And you can gift memberships. So very cool stuff there. All right, guys, we're talking about the coaching carousel from hell. We've had some major firings first, and I think that's what we're going to cover. Let's start with the most recent one. Brian Kelly is out at LSU. He's flying his little plane Where do we think Brian Kelly lands?
Well, real quick, he ain't flying out of LSU on a biplane. That dude's got a G6 jet he's rolling out on, fully paid by the taxpayers of Louisiana. Um, I don't know where he's landing. As you guys saw in our backdoor group chat, I think him going to UCLA and putting on the surfer accent would be hilarious. But your guess is as good as mine. I kind of don't know where he'll land. I don't think it'll be a financial incentive, but anyone hiring him knows that he's going to come with a lot of baggage.
Yeah, Becky, what do you think?
Here's the thing: he's a complete nutter dick, and I think that's the big thing to take away from him is like if you guys, I don't know if everybody's seen like LSU alumni and like former players like doling out like old facts, not just them, but like Notre Dame, Cincinnati, like every stop he's been at, players have come out and said some really nasty things about him. But the problem is he wins. He won at Cincinnati. He won at Notre Dame. He won at LSU, kind of, sort of. I mean, he still was winning, 8-9 games, but he's going to land on his feet. I mean, I don't know where. The question is, like you said, Moen, like he has baggage. Where does it go?
I think you put it succinctly. He is a dick, but dicks
he wins. Yeah,
wins. So I mean,
wins.
He's not going to remain out there on the market. Besides, he doesn't need to. He already negotiated his lump sum payment from the state of Louisiana to get the hell out of town. Like Pickle said, he's probably rolling in a G6 right now, drinking Cristal and whatever the finest Hennessy that's available to him. Or he could be drinking Rainier beer. He may be drinking Rainier beer, getting ready to put on a Pacific Northwest accent if he takes over for Lanning or Fish.
Look, if he can say the word, if he can say, what's the saying? If he can say, put that in a bag in the winter, then we'll say he has the perfect Northwest accent.
Unless he's going to Corvallis, I want him nowhere up here.
No, I mean, like, he wins. I would have no problem with him. Like, just putting it out there. Urban Meyer was a dick.
Yeah.
He still is. You can tell when he's on TV. A lot of the guys who are sitting there with him don't really care for him either. But he wins, and I have nothing but great things for winners. I mean, yeah, Daniel Gygax brings up Bo Pelini. Bo Pelini is a complete jerk. All he does is win. Like, I have no problem with it. You're not being paid to be a nice guy. You're paid to win. And winning is what it is. Like NFL coaches, Belichick's not a nice guy. Never was, never is, never will be. But he won. Holmgren, never was. Walsh, never was. Harbaugh, never was. So I'm fine with it. Like, if he came up here to Seattle, if, like, say, Fish left or got fired or something like that, I'd be like, okay, guess what? We're going to win.
Okay, well, let me put it to you this way, guys. We're going to run a poll. Becky, give me your best guess for a landing spot for Brian Kelly.
I think he ends up at Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay, he stays in the SEC. What do you think, Pickles?
I'm going to say UCLA because it's the kind of big name hire that goes wrong that they're known for, unfortunately, a la Chip Kelly.
Okay. I'm going to put one out there myself, and this is one that Greg Flugar put out there that I think is intriguing. And I'm going to put Maryland out there. Loxley may be on his way out. Maryland may be open. Let's run a poll, guys. We're running a poll. We're going to give you those 4 options. If we think Brian Kelly is going to coach in the next year's coaching, go ahead and list who you think it's going to be. I've also listed North Carolina State. That was a suggestion from someone here in the chat to list North Carolina State. And so I'm going to put that out there. Kenneth Maynor listed North Carolina State as an option. Dave Doran is on the hot seat there. We won't talk about him tonight, but we will talk about some coaches that are on the hot seat in our Should He Go segment. See, right now, Arkansas is winning, but UCLA is coming up there. What do we got? Whoa. Okay, guys, this isn't helpful. We need at least one more vote, guys. We need one more vote to break the tie, and you can't vote for Maryland.
I will
So-
say, in Arkansas's favor, I could see them kind of wanting to pick a bit of a dirt bag for their program.
Well, I
Well,
think
they already
Arkansas-
did.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, they fired him. Well, they didn't really want to fire him. They fired him because he was cheating on his wife with his mistress on the back of a motorcycle. He's currently their head coach right now, which is funny. I just think they want to win, right? What has Arkansas done? They haven't done anything. If he can come in there and get them to 10 wins, Arkansas fans would kill for that right now. Can't
All
tell me
right.
they wouldn't.
Well, we're going to end that real quick. We'll see who won. UCLA actually won. UCLA with 36%, Arkansas with 29%, Maryland with 21%, and North Carolina State with 14%. Kenneth Maynor also brings up Brian Kelly at Boston College could happen too. If Bill O'Brien decides to leave Boston College, I don't see that happening. Just because of his family stuff. So I just don't see that happening. But
Yeah, I was
each
like, if
their own.
Kelly wanted to leave Boston College, he would have, or not Kelly, but O'Brien wanted to leave Boston College, he would have done it for Belichick and gone down to North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, he had the opportunity to be the OC at Ohio State, turned it down.
Yeah, because he's closer to the doctors and everything for his child.
For his son. Yep, in Boston, which is why I think he'll probably stay in Boston at Boston College. But that's just my opinion. But again, we'll talk about some of those coaches and should he stay or should he go. Next up, got the mullet flowing in the air. This is old school Mike Gundy. Where do we think Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State lands?
I think he's going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere. I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job. If he does get a head coaching job, it would be probably at like Oregon State. I don't think he's not going to get a job in the Power Four anytime soon, just because of how that went. But I could see him like OC at Penn State. It's probably where he'll end up.
I could
Depending on who
see
they hire.
him taking something like, I think either the USF or Tulane job opens up, or maybe even Memphis. I could see him taking a job like that,
Yeah.
staying in the South, staying regional where he knows. He's an accomplished coach. I know it's been pretty rough at Oklahoma State, but he did amazing things with that program considering where they started. And I think any G6 or even, lower end power team would be happy to have that.
What is it? Oklahoma State has like 9 or 10 wins all time against Oklahoma, and he has like 5 or 6 of those.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, listen, we talk about consistency. The last few seasons haven't really shown it, but it used to be you could count on Oklahoma State for 8-win seasons, 9-win seasons. They were they were a couple plays away from a national championship game at one point.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, when they couldn't. Their defense was fantastic with Jim Knowles, but they just could not get anything done offensively. I like Oregon State. I think that makes a lot of sense for me. Go from OSU to go to OSU. He already knows the team colors. But Oregon State is putting money into their program. You guys mentioned it today in the group chat. NVIDIA just crossed the threshold of the first $1 trillion company. The gentleman who runs NVIDIA, for those who didn't know, is an Oregon State grad.
Founder
of NVIDIA, Oregon State grad. So they're putting some money into athletics, and they've got a great stadium out there too. So Mike Gundy would be a good hire. You're signing him away from the A4. You might be right. There might not be a lot of demand for him in the A4, but I could see another Big 12 team taking him on. Just having seen what he's been able to do before. Unfortunately for him, T. Boone Pickens died. And that kind of really...
Weirdly, he's still making donations after his death. I do want to...
He does have a trust. He has a trust.
Trust still makes donations to the athletic program, which is weird, by the way. It's very
But
weird to see he made a donation 2 years ago, 4 years after his death.
I see a couple interesting ones in chat. Devil Frog saying, I believe that'd be UH Houston, and then Baylor hires Willie Fritz. That'd be a pretty wild turn of events. If either of those jobs is open, I could see Gundy being interviewed, but maybe not selected. And then Ryan Willie kind of with a way out there pick. BYU after Kalani Sitake leaves. I don't know where Sitake would be going. BYU
Sitake
takes
is a major target, guys. I don't know if you
he
guys
is. No,
heard
he
that
is.
too.
That's not. But like BYU is a very specific job. I don't know how to describe it because you have the religious aspect of it. You don't have to be LDS, but their coaching searches are always way narrower than a lot of similar schools.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Gundy's kind of fitting the bill on that.
And it's one of the things too where I don't think Sitake would leave.
For a really big job, he would, but they're going to pay him more.
He was It came down to him and DeBoer for Washington, and Washington pivoted to DeBoer because of the buyout for Sitake. The buyout for DeBoer happened to just be less, but it came down to DeBoer and Sitake was very, very close to being the new Washington head coach.
He's got a good thing going at BYU, though. I wouldn't fault him for not wanting to leave for a similar job. I think it'd have to be a very notable step up for Sitake to leave.
It would have to be someplace like he's basically got
LSU.
He's got Oregon-like resources right now with a billionaire, the guy that owns the Mammoth and the Jazz. Like, he's a BYU alum. He's giving them a bunch of money toward athletics. It would have to be a very stable. At this point, it would have to be a very stable place, and they would have to pay him north of $10-11 million to get him to come. And I don't think anybody's willing to do that.
If he wins a Big 12 title and makes the playoff, that he'll get elevated in a lot of those discussions.
Oh yeah, he'll suddenly stand out to like a LSU or a Penn State in that case, or even a Florida.
Okay, so let's get some options here. We'll go ahead and put Houston Baylor on here as one option. I don't see Willie Fritz.
Houston / Baylor.
Yeah, / Baylor. Because I don't see Willie Fritz. I don't see Willie leaving Houston. I mean, he had a damaged reputation, and now he's getting it back up there. I don't think he's in a hurry to leave Houston. I really don't. I mean, so let's put Oregon State on there, because I think that makes the most sense to me. I'm going to add, I see in the chat, you want to add BYU. We'll add BYU on there for you.
I wouldn't say BYU. I would say UAB.
Or I would just say Southern G5, etc.
How about just
team.
G6 candidate?
Or G6,
candidate, yeah.
Or G5 candidate, we're not counting Pac-12 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buckshot Kid says just put other in there because there's way too many options for most of these.
Yeah, but we're looking at stuff that's come available that it might be available. Get another ACC team. Let's put North Carolina State again.
I think NC State is a compelling option. I don't think like a Boston College would suit Gundy very well, but NC State's seems like it's right up his alley. It's tough, though. I agree with Becky. Like, it's almost 50-50 whether I think he takes that kind of job or just becomes an OC somewhere for a year or two.
I don't know. North Carolina State does have its resources. I know that they're playing second fiddle to the Tar Heels as of right now. But
I just think to get a Power 4 job at this point, he has to go somewhere, redo his image, like create that aspect that he can win, because his last 2 years at Oklahoma State were horrendous. He didn't win a conference game, guys. Like, I don't know how you keep a guy around who couldn't win a conference game, and then you want to hire him at like NC State. His last 2 years, he didn't win a conference game.
I understand that, but you got to look at the whole resume, though, Becky.
Oh, I know, but they're going to look short term. They're going to go, well, what happened?
Well, I mean, you could do the same
2023, because 2023 is when NIL took over.
Sure, but we could use the same analogy for Willie Fritz. What happened to Willie Fritz? Houston took a chance on him, and it's paid off for Houston. Houston's doing very well this year.
Yeah, but he won a bowl game he beat USC in the Cotton Bowl at Tulane. Like, it's not like he went from, a 3-12 team. Tulane, I had to look it up because I was like, Tulane was 11-2 when they plucked him away.
Yeah, but after the Florida State debacle, in the A4. But
yeah,
we'll let people vote and we'll see. I'll give you guys about another 30 seconds to vote. Right now, Oregon State's winning. So if you don't want him to go to Oregon State, Houston votes. So I guess Willie and Dave are both okay. Willie and Dave are both okay. So let's take a look here and see. Go ahead and end the poll. Oregon State is going to win this with 47% going Oregon State, 33% saying a G5 candidate that is not Pac-12, 20% saying North Carolina State, 0% saying Houston Baylor. We may do what you say, Buckshot Kid, and put other in there, and then have you guys tell us in the comments who you think that other is.
Just think Gundy would fit in well in Corvallis, Pickles, with that mullet, man.
Yeah, it's coming back into style in the PNW, but he's going to have to trade out his button-down cowboy shirts for some flannels.
I think he might do it. He's a man.
He might need one of these hats right up here. Nice orange Carhartt to go with it.
Hunter Orange. Okay, here comes Mr. Grumpy. James Franklin. He's out at Penn State, but hell, he's a hell of a coach. Talk about consistency. Where does he land?
Yeah, real quick, if you looked up earlier, Chris G was popping into chat. He's our resident Hokie fan, so I'm sure he's got some thoughts on James Franklin. That was the rumor flying around out there today. Just as that short boater hop all the way down to Blacksburg, and I could see it. I could. I don't think, Virginia Tech's in some crazy financial straits, but Franklin and Kelly come with the option that you can kind of shortchange them on the salary because they're covered by their previous schools. So it's just about offering them resources and the chance to compete in their conference. And I think Virginia Tech actually has that. They have had good seasons recently. It just seems like they're not crossing that threshold to compete for ACC titles. So maybe Franklin's the kind of coach that can get him there. I don't know who his boogeyman Ohio State would be in the ACC because Clemson's kind of down right now. Florida State's kind of down right now. Maybe it's Miami, but I could see that job suiting him.
What do you think, Becky? Virginia Tech, or do you have another option?
If Jed Fish leaves, he's going to be a Husky.
Man. Why?
But
our student section's going to hate him.
No, that'd be fine. No, where I think he'll end up, I'm like Pickles, a school can pay him next to nothing because Penn State has to give him whatever the difference is, up to $8 million.
Right, but
so we're not sure. If I'm Virginia Tech, I can offer him $5 million, knowing he's technically going to get $8 million, and I can give him $2 million toward a staff. And now
that's probably the biggest piece, to be honest.
Yeah, it's staff. Virginia Tech, whoever hires Franklin is going to be able to give them that option of more money for their staff. Do I think it'll be Virginia Tech? No. I have a weird feeling it's going to end up being Florida or LSU. But I'm going to go ahead and say Virginia Tech just because it feels like the fans are willing it into existence.
Really? You think Florida or LSU would go with James Franklin?
Well, we'll get into the LSU search.
But you think, the LSU, is the governor of LSU going to allow Franklin to?
I mean, yeah, because he doesn't have any dead money left. They're not paying for it. They might be able to get him on the cheap. They want a guy who can win. They want a guy who can recruit. Guess what? James Franklin does both. James Franklin, yeah, okay. He couldn't get over the hump. He's coached in the SEC at Vanderbilt. He's coached in the Big Ten at Penn State, and he's won at both places. If you give him resources, he can win. It's just a matter of, does he get the right offensive philosophy? Because it doesn't matter where you go. Penn State's philosophy did not work against bigger programs like, the punch you in the mouth kind of teams like Ohio State and Michigan have had over the years. And even Iowa has been able to punch him in the mouth and they can't punch back. Like, he plays an older style of offense, but he wins, and the defense always comes through. That's what he coaches. He's very good at getting teams in a position to win. They don't get blown out. It's very rare to get blown out. If you have your team at the position to win, that's all that matters. Because at that point, it just comes down to execution and other factors. But, I can't fault the team that wants to win national titles and be in the playoff, and they haven't been able to do it. Well, this guy can do it. And by the way, all those years that they were 10-2, we'd have had a 12-team playoff. He'd have been in the playoff like 8-9 times.
And he'd have been out of the playoffs 8 or 9 times.
Maybe. We have no idea, but he would have 8 or 9 playoff appearances for sure. Like, you're like, oh, yeah.
I'm going to put this one out there. UCLA. UCLA, he wants to say, he has made it known. He said, I want to go to someplace I can win a national championship.
Can do it there.
All due respect to Virginia Tech, I don't know that he could do it at Virginia Tech. I don't know if there's enough financial support to hire the staff he wants to hire, to give him the amount of control that he wants. I think UCLA is desperate. I think UCLA would do it in a heartbeat. Get big game James out there to the West Coast. We already talked about it. He can recruit. You are in a recruiting hot ground in Southern California. My only problem in it, again, is his coaching hires. No excuse for not being able to develop a wide receiver at Penn State. You're able to develop tight ends and running backs, and no receiver. Like, I mean, you're Penn State, and you're going and getting 3-star receivers. That's unacceptable. So I put that on the position coach more than anything, but I put that on James Franklin for allowing that to happen. That is just poor coaching. So I'm going to put here in the poll, we're going to put Virginia Tech, Florida/LSU, UCLA, and then we're going to put other. Because there might be another job out there for him. But I understand Chris G, but there's more money in Los Angeles than God has. So Virginia Tech may be doing very well for itself in the next 5 years, but they're not going to be doing as well as UCLA. It's not. There's just way too much money flowing through Los Angeles waiting for a winner. And, I mean, when's the last time UCLA put up a really great winning season?
2012, I want to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say Josh Rosen years. Is that what we're talking about? The Josh Rosen years?
They never played for the Pac-12 championship.
No, they have.
Did they? Was it just once? Am I missing one?
They did. I think it was back-to-back years under Mora.
Okay, so it's been more than a decade.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Josh Rosen years would be the last.
But they haven't won a conference title since 1998.
Okay. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, like they've won 10, 11 games. Yes, they have. And I mean, like 2 years ago when they had Moore at quarterback, their defense was legitimately the best defense in the nation, like
right
by a mile. Like, you were not, like, it didn't matter who you were, you couldn't move the ball. Like,
yeah,
they just lost because they couldn't score. They were the Atlanta Falcons from the 70s. They were basically reincarnated as UCLA Bruins in 2023.
Yeah, Chris G, real quick. I think Moen's about to get to.
I'm going to get to this.
We're not talking down. Yeah, we're not talking down Virginia Tech. It's not, but like UCLA, it's not about the fan support or anything. There's a lot of people there with a lot of money who want to dump it into a guy that's got credentials to win. And whatever he can accomplish at Virginia Tech, he can do it faster at UCLA because of the resources. It's not a knock against your school. It's just math.
When we say there's a sleeping giant in the Big Ten, their name is UCLA.
Well, it's supposed to be Nebraska, but it never is.
No, UCLA.
No, they keep sleeping.
Yeah, but like Moen said, UCLA has more money than God. Like UCLA, if they put a winner on the field, And if you don't believe me, go back and watch when Mora was the head coach, when A&M rolled into town and they were beating them. No. When they're good, UCLA fans turn out like crazy. They will sell out the Rose Bowl. They will have 70, I think they only do 70,000, 75,000, but they will sell every single seat in the Rose Bowl that they're allowed to sell. And they have done it. And they did it for years. But when you're losing, UCLA fans go, I have better things. I'm in LA. I have better things to do. And no offense. Like, I think the smartest fans in the world are the ones that look around and go, I'm not going to go watch a loser.
They have a dozen sports teams in greater Los Angeles, plus another college team across town. Like, there's a lot to do there.
There's a lot to do. And your money only goes so far there.
As soon as there's a winner, whoever it is, their stadiums are packed.
Yep.
When the Rams were up, SoFi was packed. You know, now that the Rams are down, I see seats that are empty on Sundays. And I think that's true of when the Lakers are down, the Lakers are down, you know. But I think if UCLA could put a winner on the field, if Franklin could put the team that won 9 or 10 games a season, a team that might actually get to a Rose Bowl by making it to the playoffs, make it basically a home game in the quarterfinals, semifinals, depending on how big we go. I think that would be huge. So for me, it's UCLA. Looks like, let's end the poll here and we'll see what people think. Will UCLA take him? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, as soon as the poll results pop up here, YouTube, geez.
Gosh.
Well, we'll move on. We're waiting for that. I think Other ended up winning.
It
Other
looks
was
like
the
it
winner
did.
there.
It's probably going to be another.
It probably will be. We don't know jobs that are opened up yet. Other won by 37%. Virginia Tech was 2 at 32. UCLA was at 26. Florida LSU was at 5. Moving on. Sam Pittman. Does this guy get another A4 job?
No.
Not anytime soon.
You don't think anybody in the Big 12 or ACC might take a chance on him?
Someone will hire him as an O-line coach.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, he's coached some really, really good O-lines in the years over the, but
it's tough in the SEC. Yeah, it's tough in the SEC, especially now he's in conference recruiting against Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, and a better Missouri team all surrounding him. He's catching the short end of the stick in that SEC West region. So I think it's a tough place to be. I don't know. He never seemed to do much with it. Have they made a bowl or two recently?
Well, I mean, he won 9 games at Arkansas a couple of years ago.
Right. But flash in the pan, like, oh, you got a good season.
Yeah. Everything else like 7-6, 6 and under 500, basically.
Yeah, you can't get away with that forever because even Arkansas fans, are pretty voracious about their team contending for the SEC championship.
I mean,
thinking G6, G5.
Yeah.
If he's lucky, yeah.
Or a coordinator, some kind.
He's never been a coordinator.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he went. Oh, I had to look it up because I was like, I don't recall him being a coordinator because he never was. He was an O-line coach. He was the O-line coach at Georgia before he took the job at Arkansas. Prior to that, he was the O-line coach at Arkansas, and prior to that, at Tennessee and North Carolina. And then even at Northern Illinois, he was the O-line coach. So, like, I just went back to 2003. Like, that's all he's been, a head coach and an O-line coach.
Kenneth Maynard dropped one in chat. Yeah.
Middle Tennessee State, that would be a G6 job.
You know what I could see him getting as a head coaching job would be somewhere in the FCS.
I've got that listed as one of the options as well.
I just think
do we not think there's any A4 that would take a shot on Sam Pittman?
No.
Not as coach. Not as
Okay.
he just. I mean, if he'd have had like he has no. There's nothing to look like when we talk about history with like other guys, right, Moen? Like he has none. At least Gundy. Gundy had history as a coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
and he had 20 years experience as a head coach. And we can go, oh well, he's definitely won a lot of games. He's had one head coaching job, and he was terrible.
Yeah, Pittman's not getting on a jumbo jet. He's going to be on one of those single prop doohickeys to his next job.
Probably with Rex Ryan.
Pittman to the Buckeyes as the O-line coach. I wouldn't be against it.
No, it's great
we have
O-line.
lost too many O-line recruits over the last 3 years. It's a shame that when Ohio State is struggling to get O-line recruits. This is the same university that fielded Orlando Pace, Nick Mangold, rest in peace. Bentley. It's LaCharles Bentley. I mean, God, there's been so many great offensive linemen that came through Ohio State. And the fact that we're losing 5 stars and 4 stars and signing 3 stars is a problem to me.
Yeah,
Just
that
my
we
opinion.
call this our Buckeye tiny violin segment, everybody.
Right.
So pour one out
gonna-
for our friend Moen.
25 years of winning seasons. Oh no.
Yeah, I was going to pull this one up and say this. Kenneth Manor, when ECU is down, we average 40K. When ECU is great, we average 50K. When
Yes.
Ohio State is down, I remember one season we were down.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
And
out
that
of
was
like
Luke
30.
Fickle as a coach, and we will be talking about Luke Fickle here momentarily. But yeah, I completely get it. There's some fan bases that are rabid fan bases, and just UCLA, there's just way too much to do. There's just too much stuff going on in Los Angeles that if you're not producing a winner on the field, why should we show up for you? You know?
Like, I mean, again, 40,000 when you're down. That's great. I mean, Washington went 0-12 and still averaged 60,000 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the university's like, we took a loss. I'm like, they took a loss that year.
They took 12 of them.
Yeah.
Granted
13
that
when you
only
count how much money we lost because ticket sales weren't as good.
yeah. Granted that only happens because the Seahawks were also terrible that year, but I digress.
Yeah.
I think Pittman lands as the offensive line coach at LSU. I'm sure he's going to get paid a pretty penny.
Depends on the
I know
coach.
if they'd have just waited to fire him, they would have had to pay him less. But apparently, the pressure at Arkansas was so much they fired him and paid him more instead of just waiting like 3 games.
Well, like Arkansas feels like they're LSU or Florida, but they're not. And they haven't been in like 70 years. So I don't know what it's 60 years. They haven't been like that in 60 years when Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson were on the team winning a national title. Like, I don't understand. And it's no knock on Arkansas or anything, but I don't understand where their fans get so pretentious. I don't understand.
Well, I will say this. During Houston Nutt's time there as a head coach, you had Darren McFadden, you had Felix Jones, and you had Peyton Hillis.
She had all 3 of them at the same team?
All 3 of them at the same time. So, I mean, that was pretty good when you had Run DMC, you had Felix Jones, and you had Peyton Hillis. Although Peyton Hillis was a bit of that was one where I think the Cleveland Browns actually won. They actually won a deal.
They did win with him. It's like 1,000-yard, like 1,800-yard rusher 1 year.
And then as soon as they traded him away, he was terrible. Signed a huge contract at Denver.
Got put on the cover of Madden.
Yeah.
Madden
That'll
Curtis,
kill you.
man. But like even then, like they won a lot of games at Arkansas, but they didn't have a good quarterback. Oh wait, yeah, they did. They had a 1st-round pick. And
Which
they were still
one?
terrible. What's his name?
Mallet.
God rest his soul. He's not with us anymore. I think it's Ryan Mallett, right?
And
Ryan
Mallet,
Mallett
yeah,
passed
the
away.
Michigan
I was gonna say that's the only one that I can think of.
Everybody seems to think Pittman is destined for a G6 job. He's at 47%. 18% say FCS. 35% say other. Probably assuming that, probably right, OL coach somewhere. Maybe
I suppose
a
that
crack.
should be a built-in option. Is just put like coordinator or like G6. Yeah, but throw it in chat if you have specific options we're not listing out there.
Sure, absolutely. We'd love to see them. Dave's here says, my balls, there's stuff to do everywhere. If you've got money, there's stuff to do in LA, dude. I've
So
been
much
there with
to do in
money
LA.
before.
Been
There's
there.
lots of stuff to do, and it costs a lot of money.
Costs
Yeah.
so much money. I don't even go to Disneyland anymore because it's just too damn expensive.
Save your money. Go to Vegas, guys. Vegas is crazy cheap right now.
If you, hey, best advice I can ever give: if you don't gamble and you don't drink, Vegas is the best value vacation you can ever have.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Unless you're paying to go to the shows and the museums, and
That's right, and they're all right there, and hotels are dirt cheap, and flights are dirt cheap.
Hey, guess what? I can tell you some tricks. You never have to pay to go to a show in Las Vegas. Daniel Gygax absolutely went and saw ECU destroy Coastal. Concessions were great. Worth the drive. That's a dedicated fan base, but that's driving from ECU to Coastal Carolina. That's a little
like
different than driving from like
hour and a half, 2 hours.
yeah, that's a little different than being a UCLA fan and traveling to Oregon or Washington or
Yes.
or Piscataway, New Jersey, in their new conference.
Yeah, it's I think it's like 1,000 miles from UCLA to Washington's campus. It's a little bit more than a 5-hour drive.
Same time zone.
Yeah.
Pit Snipe Husker
Underway.
says Pittman to Nebraska's O-line coach, run game coordinator. I think we can all agree Pittman's a great O-line coach,
Yeah.
but nobody wants him as a head coach.
The follow-up to that is, if he does get hired, is Matt Rule still the coach at Nebraska?
Yeah, I don't think Matt Rule's going anywhere.
I don't think he is now anymore.
Unless he gets him to like 10 wins this season somehow, I think he's sticking at Nebraska. I don't think Penn State has I don't think he has the name leverage at Penn State that they need to go out and like get a home run. Okay, here we go. Sticking with the SEC firing coaches, and that is Billy Napier, by the way. That is Billy Napier with the buzz cut and the angry look on his face. Looks like he's been constipated for 4 days. That is Billy Napier. Do we think Billy Napier actually lands somewhere in the A4, goes back to G6 maybe?
You can't possibly have that talented of a roster and be that bad for
Okay.
multiple seasons.
I agree. I don't think
That's
he has a
ridiculous.
landing
You were
spot.
you were handed like the 5-star Michelin chef ingredients and still made chicken salad. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You don't need a power job right now.
He's definitely not getting a power job. There's no way he gets a power job. But I do think he's going to end up in the G6 somewhere down south. That's where he's used to coaching. I mean, they found him at Lafayette,
USF.
so he'll end up
USF.
somewhere where he
Yeah,
can.
if Golish leaves USF, that's not a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick at all. But like, I think he's going to end up someplace like UAB. He's going to have to start over.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenneth Maynard just threw that in chat. He's right there with you. UAB.
UAB.
Is UAB actually open job right now? Is that what I'm
Yeah,
missing?
Trent Doper got fired.
Okay. Okay, right. Okay. I saw that at some point, but just forgot that.
I mean,
I saw
we
he
all
got
knew he
fired
was.
and forgot where he coached.
Like, we all knew he'd eventually get fired because he had no head coaching experience. Took over a team that was like got canceled and then brought back. Basically, is the best way to describe UAB. Like, they got rid of it and then the fans got mad and they brought it back. But yeah, I think he'd be great there. Like, no pressure. Still a good recruiting hotbed. You can find they have donors, apparently, decent donors. You're gonna find those SEC kids who have chips on their shoulders that want to keep playing ball and prove some people wrong, and that's the best place to do it.
Well, we got that poll up. Let's take some comments and questions here. Question to Moan: what's your take on the Brian Hartline rumors? I don't believe them. Why would Hartline want to leave to take the pit? One, it's going to be hard to get a head coaching job with just 1 year as a true offensive coordinator. I know
At
he
a
was
place like Penn State.
co-OC last year with Chip Kelly, but Chip Kelly was calling the plays.
Wait.
So-
At a place like Penn State, though?
Yeah.
Is that what the rumor
Yeah.
is?
Yes, that's rumored. But these rumors go around Columbus every year. Listen, Brian Hartline, I don't even know that Brian Hartline wanted to be OC. I think Brian Hartline would have been content to just be a wide receivers coach. That is what he has been good at. He is probably, I think, and I told this to Caleb Ramirez earlier this week, I think if Hartline goes anywhere, if he ever goes anywhere outside of Ohio State, it's going to be to the NFL with Ryan Day. It's going to go to be to the NFL to be a wide receivers coach in the NFL as a position coach. But I don't see him leaving Ohio State. He makes a lot of money in Columbus. He has family in Columbus. He basically can go into any place. He could walk into Columbus and take a piss on the bar.
Yeah, but
and they would buy him a drink.
It depends on what he wants to do career-wise as a coach. And I mean, like, no offense, if Penn State offers you, you're Brian Hartline, you don't say no. You just can't. Like,
Maybe.
You're, like, it's not. We're not talking like Penn State is like. It's like.
Well, one, I don't think Penn State's going to offer him.
I don't think they will. No. I don't think they will because
Right.
he has no. Like, they're going to hire a guy with experience as a head coach. Like,
but to be fair, Ryan Day didn't have any experience as head coach when he took the job at Ohio State. He did eventually win a national championship.
Yeah, but it's he's not taking over from Urban Meyer, who left the cover. He gave him a Ferrari. Like,
I agree, but I mean, I agree. It's not the cupboards aren't left bare at Penn State, though.
No,
I know they are losing recruits. They're losing recruits, by the way, but
yeah, if that happened today with NIL and a portal, it would be a lot different scenario for Ryan Day. Like, because as soon as Urban Meyer said I'm retiring, they'd have been on the players would have gotten text messages from around the country. So,
and Urban Meyer's been a rumor too for Penn State.
Yeah,
like literally, Urban was in. Somebody took a picture of Urban in like Western Pennsylvania at some point, and like posted it. He was like at a gas station, and they posted it, or he looked like Urban Meyer, and they posted it, and it's like, oh, this confirms that Urban Meyer is going to Penn State.
I mean, here's the thing. We know Saban was asked about it because Saban's wife chimed in. It was like, no. Like, he's like, if my wife says yes, I'm going to have to do it. But for right now, she's saying no.
Yeah.
She
said no. Miss Terry is done.
Yeah, Miss Terry needs a quiet retirement life.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine living with someone who coaches at a high level like that.
No.
For that
long. So, Pit Snipe Husker, I make the thumbnail graphics, as Sergeant Pickles points out. Thank you for the kudos. Appreciate it, sir. Napier to UAB is good for the American, makes the conference even more competitive. Hey, you know what? There might be kids that he couldn't recruit at Florida due to academic things that he can do at UAB. So it might be a very good move for him.
Yeah. I think people forget that Florida is actually a crazy good school.
Well, and yes, and we've mentioned it before. It's not like you can't find a 5-star kid. As Vox Quindaro reminded me, you can't swing a dead cat and not hit a 5-star kid at in the state of Florida. So looks like chat tends to agree with Becky. You got UAB at 35%, USF close 25%. I put in FAU as the one, Florida Atlantic, 25%. And then other G6 1, 15%. So
seems like all along the same line, Southern G6.
Yeah, I don't see him leaving the South. Like, he's already coached there. He knows the recruiting grounds. Like, I'd have to look. I'm going to look real quick and see if he's coached outside the South, but I don't think he has. Like,
the only thing I've heard from him is in Louisiana and Florida. So
yeah, he was a graduate assistant at Clemson, quarterback coach South Carolina State. He was on the Clemson staff. He was the OC, and then 2011 he was an analyst at Alabama. And then he was Colorado State, the quarterback coach, and then Alabama's wide receiver coach. Then he was at Arizona State as the offensive coordinator, and he took over at
Okay.
Louisiana's head coach.
So he was he
he's
went to
everywhere.
Arizona State, but I mean, hell, that's a hell of a resume he's got.
It's a great resume, yeah. Like he's coached under. By the way, he's coached under like some good name guys, like
Dabo and Saban.
Graham, Dabo, Saban. Like, yeah, he's been everywhere. So he's got some pedigree. He can coach.
Fair enough. All right. So now we've decided who lands where. I know there were other coaches we could have put on there. We could have put Trent Dilfer on there. Trent Dilfer's not going to land anywhere.
No.
Deshaun Foster. I like Deshaun Foster as a person, but he's not landing anywhere.
He'll be a running back coach, or he's going to work. He and Dilfer have to work their way back up, but I could see them both getting FCS coaching jobs. And
I don't even think Dilfer wants to coach. He didn't coach when he was at UAB.
I was going to say,
pretty much showed that on the field.
He probably wants to get back to helping high school kids. So.
Yeah, or get back in a media job. My guess would be media for both of them. But
probably be back in ESPN soon. Yeah.
But now we're going to move on to the next game. Should he stay or should he go? Now, these are not all necessarily winners. Some of these are coaches where a lot of people are going to say he should go. There's one evil badger in particular that'll say on one candidate he should definitely go. And the quicker, the better. But let's start out with Eli Drinkwitz, the Mizzou Tigers. He has been mentioned for several jobs. LSU, Florida, Penn State. Should he stay at Missouri? Or should he go if one of those blue blood jobs presents itself? Becky, you go first. Yes or no? Should he stay or should he go?
I think he should stay.
Okay.
I think he'll stay. He'll get a raise. I mean, he's 1-9 now against top 10 teams.
At Mizzou.
His one win, of course, was Ohio State.
Yeah, that's a pretty big win.
It's a good win, but like the 9
losses. It was one against the third string true freshman quarterback, but you did win.
But the 9 losses, and that's the big thing, he was the backup to the backup was playing, but like his 9 losses are not great. They're not. A couple of them haven't been close. I just think he's a great coach. He's turning them around, getting them back to where they could be. And I think, Missouri's all in. They're remodeling their football stadium. Everything's there for him to succeed. Why would you leave that?
Okay.
For positions at places that are definitely in flux, and like, I don't want to get into the crap show that LSU is, but I don't see any of these coaches wanting to take that job the way it is right now.
Becky makes a compelling argument to stay, but I think Pickles thinks he should go. Is that correct, Pickles? You think he should go?
I'm on the fence about it because he should go for the right situation. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe if Penn State just absolutely throws a bag at him, but I don't know if Florida's necessarily a step up, considering he's starting from scratch, rebuilding their whole team. He's already got that built up at Missouri. Struggled through, kind of some okay years, and is really hitting his peak. He's putting dudes into the upper rounds of the NFL. Just kind of looking through his bio to see, like, he's kind of in, coached at Missouri is where he's most known for, but was coordinators at Boise, NC State, App State. He is actually weirdly born in Norman, Oklahoma, but grew up in Arkansas. So I was like, oh, the Arkansas job. And then I had to think about it. I'm like, that's a step down.
That's a lateral move.
You don't want that job. So, like, it'd have to be notable step up, considering he's at... I don't know if he can push Missouri to that legitimate playoff national championship contending team, but he's already darn close, and considering where they started, that's an incredible feat. It's almost kind of Indiana-esque, where it's taking an unassuming program and really turning it around in a hurry. Man, I'm 50-50. It would have to be either LSU makes another stupid move and throws an absolute mountain of cash at him, or Penn State. Otherwise, stay at Missouri. There's very few jobs that would require you to leave to accomplish what you want.
any job that's a step up is a step worth taking. I think Drinkwitz, Penn State has been mentioned off a lot of times. I hear Becky. He's 1-9 in top 25 games. You just got rid of big game James Franklin. But listen, it's hard to be successful in the SEC when you're at Mizzou. Uh, you have to basically go out and recruit talent, successfully navigate the portal, develop that talent. When that talent just automatically falls to teams like LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
tough road to hoe. So I'm going to be a little lenient on him for those 1-9 against top 25 teams. I think he's done an admirable job at Missouri. I think he's a smart offensive mind. I think every single one of those jobs I mentioned wants an offensive coach, especially Penn State. I think if Penn State comes calling, I think he should take that job. I think he would do well at Penn State. He's going to have more resources at any of those jobs than he has at Missouri. It's going to be way easier for him to recruit at any of those jobs than he does at Missouri. I mentioned Florida. Yes, Florida's going to be rebuilding. That'll take 2 seasons before you have a roster that's filled with 4 and 5 star monsters. LSU's rebuilding. Let LSU another recruiting hotbed. You're not going to, Western Pennsylvania. He's not going to run out of places, that are recruiting hotbeds. So I mean, if he gets one of those 3 jobs offered to him, either the Penn State gig, the LSU gig, or the Florida gig, I say take it.
Yeah, man. I will say, in his defense, and frankly, any SEC coach's defense over the past decade, for those ranked games and ranked wins, whatever, take out Nick Saban's Alabama and Kirby Smart's Georgia, and all of their records look insanely better. It's literally just those 2 guys ran roughshod over the conference for a decade.
All right, I'm going to put it up in the poll in chat. Stay or go, Eli Drinkwitz. Should he stay or should he go? And we will move on to the next one while that poll is running. And I know this one is going to be very important to Ryan Willie. Luke Fickell. Now, he may not have a choice in this. In fact, he probably doesn't have a choice in this. That is grumpy Luke Fickell. I made him going downwards with everybody else. Should he stay? This is more, I think, a question about Wisconsin administrators, the athletic director and the administrators. Should he stay or should he go?
Well, he needs to go. The question is, why hasn't he already? I think if our friend Ryan Willie had his say, he'd be tied up to the landing gear of that plane. He needs to go. I haven't looked into his contract to see if there's some buyout restriction or something that's holding it up, but it's to me it's a done deal.
His buyout's like $18 million, I think.
Which is high. But
it's on the higher end, but it's not. It's just because he signed the extension.
You can't suffer another season of this. You're going to lose out on recruiting again. Like, his trend is down, and even despite the tough schedule, we talked about it last week. He had an insanely tough schedule, but he even missed expectations of just being okay. Like, oh, they had a decent game against Oregon this last week. I think that was more so about Oregon's kind of poor execution than Wisconsin kind of taking.
Well, it was a driving monsoon too. So,
yeah, it's over for him at Wisconsin. I don't know what the holdup is other than financial, but he's got to go.
He's got to go. What do you say, Becky?
He's going to stay, and he's going to stay because the athletic director came out and said he stays. The only way he leaves is if the athletic director gets fired. But look, let's be blunt. I think Wisconsin's not oblivious to what their schedule looked like this year. Next year is a much more favorable schedule for wins, but he cannot, I'm going to say this out loud, he cannot go 0 and whatever in the conference. He can't go 0 and 9 in the Big Ten. And he's about to do that, by the way, because I don't think he's going to win another game this year. And it's so bad that he gets 2 weeks to prepare for Washington because they're on the bye this week. But Washington got 2 weeks to prepare for them because they're also on a bye. So it's it's 50-50 on whether or not he actually gets any other chance, because it's not up to him. It's up to if they fire the AD.
But again, Becky, the
He's not
question
going
is,
anywhere. He's not
should
going-
he stay
Should he stay?
or should he go?
Here's the thing. If he goes, I think, Florida fans want him apparently because he's a disciplinarian. Yeah, no joke. Read the Reddit boards. You don't believe me? Read the Reddit boards. No, I think he should go. I think he should go because he's not the right fit for what Wisconsin wants to do offensively. But, the problem is I would like to see what he can do with a fully healthy quarterback. Because right now he's on quarterback 3.
Listen, if I'm a quarterback, I am not going to Wisconsin.
I'm not going to Wisconsin. It's bad juju.
But, yeah, bad karma. Then they
Because
somehow Fickle built something on an Indian burial ground up there somewhere.
I don't know why.
can't.
I don't know who he pissed off in the element of the football gods, but he got somebody really mad. But their offensive line really good at Wisconsin. Their D line really good at Wisconsin. Everything else is terrible.
Yeah.
Someone cursed that team so that until they run the power I for a full season, they're not going to be lifted of the curse.
And I think they would be more successful running the power I for the whole season on every play.
Yeah. They did score finally. It took 15 quarters, but they did score.
Yeah, this is to me, this is a no-brainer. He's got to go.
Yeah.
Got to go for himself and for Wisconsin. It's just, hey, look, some things in life don't work out, man.
I will say this: he's going to probably fire the offensive coordinator, the one that he hired away from Kansas, and that's the only thing that he's going to keep doing. But at some point, I think they're going to realize it's not the offense; it's him. So,
yeah, and he took Cincinnati to the playoffs as a G5 team, so we will give him that. But I think he goes. As far as Drinkwitz, let's see what everybody says. Everybody says he should stay. Overwhelmingly, 79% say Drinkwitz should stay, not take the Penn State, LSU, or Florida jobs.
They're going to throw one of those 3 are going to throw a bag of money at him, though.
They are, yeah.
They are.
They'll have to because
if you're doing your due diligence,
yeah,
he's the guy.
Let's ask about Fickle's fate. Now, I know there's probably Minnesota fans are probably rallying right now
they want him to stay.
You know what? Honestly,
Iowa fans want Rule to stay after last week.
It would be a very Big Ten thing for him to only win the Minnesota game.
That's what I was going to say when Becky mentioned that. Just because it's a rivalry game and weird shit happens in rivalry games.
Oh, he saved his job. He beat Minnesota. Woo!
I mean, Michigan State, as you know, they didn't beat Michigan, but they looked a lot better against Michigan because it was a rivalry game than anyone else. And we don't have Jonathan Smith on the list either, guys.
He can save himself. He's not on the chopping block yet.
I think he's going to leave for the UCLA job. And he's going to bring Childs with him. He's going to bring a few guys with him.
He's a West Coast dude through and through.
Well, he grew up a UCLA fan.
Oh, did he? I did not know that.
He's from Pasadena. So
we've brought it up before. There's a not that weird alternate universe where Jonathan Smith is actually the coach at Washington instead of Jed Fish.
No, it was close too.
Yeah.
If that happens, if he does leave Michigan, I hate to say it, but Fickle would be a good fit at Michigan State. He has a lot of those D'Antonio qualities to him.
If Jed Fish leaves Washington, they might call Jonathan Smith. Who knows?
They might. Speaking of Jed Fish.
Oh, man. You had to. You had to.
I'm sorry. His name has been mentioned for Florida. His name is also being mentioned for LSU now. Jed Fish. Does he leave Washington? Should he stay? Now, I know I'm not going to get an unbiased opinion here.
I can try. We can try.
But I don't blame you if you don't. I don't blame you.
I'm going to give you one. The only school he should leave for, Florida.
Okay.
It's his alma mater. It's where he grew. It's where he went to school. He was, roommates with Eagles GM Howie Roseman. He left a note on Steve Spurrier's car windshield every day for 400 days. Spurrier admitted to this happening. So like it really did happen. He used to sneak into elevators and get to places he's not supposed to be.
He snuck into the OJ trial. That's been
Yeah.
confirmed when he was like a college student.
College student snuck into the OJ
It
trial.
was wild.
Like he's sitting there on his deathbed. It's like he had a heart attack or something like that, or some crazy happened. He's on his deathbed, and the coach walks in and he's like, "Do I still have my job?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "All right." Like everything he wants is probably at Florida, but Florida in Washington, they would just be stepping stones to the NFL. That's where he eventually wants to be. So I caution everybody, like Washington's well aware that he wants to be an NFL head coach. He's not like he's no bones about it. That's what he wants. Like, but I don't see him leaving for a job that again he has to rebuild at, which is what UCLA is. Regardless of what you think, he can bring whoever he wants down there from Washington. It's going to be a rebuilding job. And then Florida wouldn't be too much of a rebuild because it'd be more of a reload because you can get enough talent to win games. They have a ton of talent on defense. They have a ton of talent on offense. They're missing a quarterback. Their issue is at quarterback. And he would bring the quarterback with him from Washington, which would piss off the SEC like there's no tomorrow. But like that's the only place I see him going. Outside of that, he should stay. And I'm a firm believer that if your alma mater calls you, you listen because it is your alma mater. You love that place.
Yeah. Well, and when again, unbiased take, I'm pretty much on the same page. Every honest Washington fan knows that this was not some forever job. Like, Fisheye's the NFL. He wants to be an NFL football head coach. That is his dream. He was a coordinator under half of the guys that are currently in the NFL and quite a few Hall of Fame level coaches. That's his goal. The question is whether he feels Florida gets him to that quicker or Washington. And I think it's actually a pretty even argument, and maybe the alma mater maybe the alma mater factor tips it over, but I think it's even because Florida's talent potential is higher than Washington. It just is. But you're starting from scratch, and Washington, he's already had a couple seasons. He's already got the quarterback, the receiver, like he's got something already kind of established in Washington.
Let's get rid of this notion that certain schools have more resources than other schools because of like quote unquote things that happened in the past. In the NIL era, you don't have more resources than a number of these Big Ten schools in the SEC. You just don't. And Florida can say we have more resources. LSU can say we have more resources. I'm telling you now, there are schools in the Big Ten like Washington, UCLA, and Oregon who have more money than God, and they will spend it. If you don't believe me, Washington's roster is over $30 million this year.
Right, but Florida's just more fertile recruiting grounds.
Florida's just an easier place to get kids, and you don't have to pay them as much. But if I really want to pay them more, I can stay at Washington and just go, hey, you can go to Florida and make, $750K, or you come to Washington, I'll give you $900K or $1 million. By the way, we're both tax-free.
That's true.
So
tax-free state. Washington does have that advantage. Yeah. Okay, on the Fickles poll, get the hell out of here. Won with 87%. Only stay was 13%. And I think every one of that 13% were Minnesota fans.
I told you.
All right, moving on. I got another poll up there to discuss Jed Fish, if he should stay hooked at UW or not. Go ahead and vote on that one. While we're doing that, we're going to bring up the next one. Ole Miss, Joey Freshwater, Lane Kiffin. What do we think? Should he stay at Ole Miss? Should he go to Florida? Should he go to LSU? Should he go to Penn State? He's been named for all three as potential candidate.
You had to have a meeting.
Let's start with you, Becky. You sound like you've got a definitive opinion on this. What do you think? Should he stay or should he go?
I honestly think he should stay. I think he's got everything he needs at Ole Miss. He's winning ball games. He's changed the culture there. He's the best coach they've had in 50 years. Like, that's insane to even say out loud. Like, they had a guy who had Eli Manning and he couldn't win as many games as Lane Kiffin. By the way, I had to look this up. Ole Miss has won 10 games only 9 times in their history. 2 coaches have won all 9 of those games. The guy that won the national title in 1961 or 62, and Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has 4 of those, and he hasn't been there but like 6 years. Like, why would you leave that? You have everything in place. Now, what I do think he's going to do is he's going to parlay Florida and LSU and Penn State and get a big raise. He makes like 10. I had to look this up. He makes almost $10 million a year at Ole Miss. So the question is, are they willing to give him 11 to 12 million? Because Florida going to give him 12 million.
I
don't think LSU is going to go high because I think their governor's quite pissed off still.
Yeah.
About $53 million floating around out there. So
parlaying this back to the Jed Fish thing, I think unlike where his wife and daughters won't move to Seattle, I think they would move to Gainesville, Florida, or somewhere nearby on the beach. So
no, they lived in Seattle. That was the thing. His family lived in Seattle, but
I'm just saying, I think
a special kind of person to survive the gloom of Seattle. If I don't blame his family for moving. If you've never been here between October and May pickles, it's it's doom and gloom.
Right. But barring, so I guess kind of where I'm coming back to, especially talking Kiffin, I think barring other firings, there's 3 big jobs open right now. It's Penn State, it's LSU, and it's Florida. And honestly, with the world we live in today, maybe Kiffin and Drinkowitz should get together and rock, paper, scissors, and one picks LSU and the other one picks Florida. But those are the 2 jobs I see him going for. I don't really think he would take the Penn State job because he's going to be a number 1 suitor type guy for both the Gators and Tigers of LSU. So he can have his pick of the litter for any of those jobs.
I think Kiffin wants Alabama's job. And I think he knows
he's not getting it because he's not going to get it.
I think eventually it's going to be available because I think DeBoer is known to not sit in this spot for too long.
Well, it's the same thinking. I'm sure Dan Lanning wants the Georgia job, but he's not getting it anytime soon.
No, but that's a name I think is going to go. I think they're going to land at LSU or Florida. I think they're going to end up landing Lanning. I think he ends up in one of those 2 spots.
Please, if there is a God.
And let me say this, again, because you talk about resources. Well, he doesn't have to go down to the living rooms of those kids in the South and beg them to fly out to Eugene. He can just go, hey, I'm 2 hours from your mom and dad. It's a much easier sell in the South, and eventually he's going to get tired of having to go to Phil Knight and go, I need $2-3 million for a player I can get at Florida for $900. So
yeah, but if I had to vote, when I'm going to right now, I think Kiffin goes. He takes one of the 2.
I think he just stays. I think he's getting a raise. And I think he should stay. I don't think he should leave. Ole Miss.
I agree with Becky. I think he should stay. I don't see that there's any benefit. Listen, he's put to get. They're going to make the playoffs this year, probably. They have a very good team this year. They should, according
they barely
to them,
beat Washington State.
According to them, they should have made the playoffs last year.
I'm sure that according to them, they did.
But they did. They beat Oklahoma. That was a ranked win. He's got resources in Oxford. He does. I mean, and it's not that hard to recruit a kid from Florida to come to Oxford, Mississippi. I mean, obviously you don't have everything that Florida has, but you got quite a bit of the same culture and the same stuff to do. So I think he could stay at Ole Miss. He could win a national championship at Ole Miss. He could be a statue at Ole Miss someday. Listen, going to Florida and LSU, those are high scrutiny jobs. I mean, he could have an 8-win down season, and they would give him a raise at Ole Miss. If you have an 8-win season at Florida or LSU, they want to fire you. Does he really want to jump into that gator pond or that tiger den and fight for the
I
next
mean,
3-4 years when he has a down season because he has to rebuild? Does he really want to fight that fight?
I mean, it's a high risk, high reward, but I don't know. Maybe he's a little scarred from taking these top end jobs after what happened at USC. But
Right. That's what
when
I
you
mean.
get a verb named after you of being tarmacked, you probably don't
Yes.
want to repeat that.
Yeah, and
So-
I his family, from his family's social media output, they seem to be happy there. I mean, there is that one famous video where his daughter told him how much they spent, and he had damn near shit his pants. But I mean, I'm sure that his agent is going to make sure that he gets paid very well so they can afford those shopping trips. So, if I was him, I would stay at Ole Miss. Will he stay at Ole Miss? I don't know, but the question is, should he stay or go? In my opinion, he should stay. That poll is running, by the way. Should the lane train stay parked in Oxford, or should it go to Florida or LSU?
I don't think he wins a championship at Ole Miss.
By the way, Pickles, I just want to say, like, when you say like Washington State, yeah, they're 4-4. Their 4 losses are Washington, Ole Miss, Virginia, North Texas. Combined, they only have 5 losses.
Yeah.
Good grief. Yeah, Washington State's not a terrible team.
They blew out 6-1 San Diego State. So,
Yes.
At San Diego State.
Wazoo is not an awful team. So
Here's the thing. I get what you're saying, Pickles. He might not win an SEC championship at Ole Miss.
no,
Doesn't mean he can't win a national championship in a 12-team playoff.
Yeah,
I just think it's too crowded. I think the field is too crowded, and I don't know. Until they change the format where you're talking 16 teams, that bye, I think, is pretty valuable. Yes, I understand the playoff we just went through and blah, 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 blah. Down the road, I think that bye is pretty darn valuable, and not winning your conference championship. I mean, yeah, in a weird, bizarre world, his chance of winning a national championship might be higher than winning the SEC. I still think both are lower than they would be at Florida or LSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's move on. This is one you guys brought up. Prognostication. Dan Lanning. The grass is damn green in Eugene, and so is the cash. Does Dan Lanning finally get pried away from Oregon, go to LSU or Florida?
Well, Florida's probably got better nose sugar for him down there.
That's alleged. We have no proof of that.
No proof.
That is Sergeant Pickles saying that.
I said probably.
No,
He said probably in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
Say, like, are you discounting the stuff down there in Louisiana?
What, Tabasco? You go ahead and snort that. You're going to have a different kind of good time.
I think he ends up as head coach at Tarleton State.
Yes, light him up. Let's go.
No. Here's the thing. I think he should stay because I think he enjoys actually what he does in Eugene. And his big reasoning for not taking any other jobs has been, I want my kids to have one spot finally that's theirs. But he's been there for 4 or 5 years now. Maybe now he sees the opportunity to go. And if he does, I think the SEC is where he's going to end up. I think he's not going to, unless he can land a blue blood job, he's not, and no offense to Oregon, but you're not on the same level as LSU and Florida when it comes to certain things. By the way, here's the big kicker. If he wants money, he has to kiss the ass of Phil Knight, an 85-year-old man who almost 86 now, who, yeah, he wants to give you all the money in the world, but like they were losing out on recruits earlier this year and nobody could figure out why. Well, it was because Mr. Knight said, I'm done paying for things and wanted some assurances. Got those assurances from Dan Lanning, and now they're paying kids again. Like, very difficult job to have to kiss the ass of an 86-year-old man when you want him to write a check. At Florida, you don't got to do that. You're the head coach. You can just go, look, I want to land this kid. This is what it's going to cost me. And they're usually they're like, you have 6 boosters ready to write the check.
Fair enough. Pickles,
Yeah,
give us your
I,
take on it.
I see a lot of thing in chat because it's what Oregon's known for. Their Nike U. Like, do they have a giant wad of cash? Yes.
Amen. With John
Is that money infinite? No, it's not. And SEC schools and Big Ten schools, a lot of them can produce comparable money. So it's not really about the money. To me, I think Lanning, like I said, I think Lanning's absolute dream job for whatever reason. If Georgia opened up, he would sign, yesterday to take that job. Are Florida and LSU close enough to that dream of his to warrant changing from Oregon? I think maybe only because I don't know Dante Moore's eligibility status. Like, yes, Oregon's going to recruit all crazy, but is he setting up for another championship run? I thought last year was their best shot they were going to have for a few seasons.
By the way, Dante Moore still has like years of eligibility.
If he wants it, right?
No, yeah, he redshirted last year, so
right.
he
So
has 2 more years.
again, I'm so 50-50, and I think Becky's probably right that he stays at Oregon for now in the hopes that something like a Georgia opens up. I don't know why Georgia would open up because Kirby Smart's doing fine.
I mean, I think he's paying it. I think he's also been paying attention to what's going on in the state of Michigan.
Yeah,
I think he's been paying attention to what's going on out there with
if he leaves,
Wolverines. So
I think if he leaves Oregon, it's not for another Big Ten job; it's for the SEC.
No, I think he's going to leave. If he leaves and goes to the Big Ten, it's going to be the Blue Bloods. It's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, or USC.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those 3.
But you're already competing with those guys, so like, where's the step up? Unless it's literally Ohio State.
They're better jobs, Pickles. Like, they're not on even playing fields.
But it's not his goal. Like, it's very. I mean, maybe I'm just reading the tea leaves wrong. It's very obvious to me. His goal is to be a top end SEC coach. It's where he's from. It's what he loves.
I don't think it's his goal to be an SEC coach. I think it's just to be
to win a championship in the SEC. Yes.
If he feels suddenly he cannot win a national title at Oregon,
which he
even
can't.
Oregon fans know this, he's gone. But right now, he has all the money he needs to be able to put a winning team on the field. And that's all you can expect from a coach right now is, can you get into the playoff? And the playoff gives you that chance. Now, I don't think he goes anywhere anytime soon, but I do believe Florida is going to make a big, big shot. Like, they're going to take their chance and go for him. Especially, let me say this. If Oregon loses to Washington or somewhere else along their schedule between now and Washington, because again, rivalry, crazy things happen. If they lose a game and they suddenly are out of the playoff chase at that point, it's fair game. But if they're in the playoff chase, you're going to be behind the 8 ball, and then he definitely stays because LSU, Penn State, Florida. They're gonna pounce to ensure that they have a decent recruiting class still to come in because they want to compete.
I'll go ahead and say it. I'll piss off the Oregon fans. Oregon has been a stepping stone program for a long time.
No, it is.
Lots of coaches have come through there, and when something better comes along, they leave. If you're telling me LSU and Florida are open, you mentioned Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore might be out at Michigan. We're hearing rumors of that they're not.
Yeah, they're not happy.
Not happy with the job Sharon Moore has done.
Shocker.
If those 3 jobs are open and you're Dan Lanning and they offer them to you, to me, that's you take them.
You're going to listen. You got to listen.
I mean, if this is about winning a national championship, if this is about being the best college coach out there, I understand that Oregon can pay players. They've done a wonderful job of it. They've built some tremendous rosters out there.
Doing it for decades.
Number 1 overall seed last year. I'm not discounting what Dan Lanning has done at Oregon. He's done a fantastic job there. I'm not discounting that I'm not saying Oregon's a bad job. I'm just saying that University of Michigan, blue blood, University of Florida. Okay, we can debate the blue blood status, but they're up there.
Top
They've won
10
national
job.
they've won national championships.
Yeah.
LSU won national championships. So I think given those choices, if I'm Dan Lanning, I know you guys say, well, he's waiting for the Georgia job. I think Lanning is the type of guy that would love nothing more than to take that Florida job and put Kirby Smart over his knee and spank him for 3 or 4 in a row.
Honestly, the irony of 2 former Oregon coaches in the state of Florida would be so funny for me. You just load them all up. Who's a former Oregon coach? Chip Kelly to Florida State. Then they could just go 3 for 3 on Oregon coaches to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't think. Let me say this: I don't think Michigan fires anybody anytime soon. But like, they're already pissed off about the whole Connor Stallions thing. They just dropped it, let it go, because they just accepted the penalty because they knew if they kept up with this, it was going to be terrible for them. And 2, I think, if Sherman Moore cannot get this team into the playoff next year, they're going to start to question if he's the guy anyway, right? Like, you lost Oklahoma at Oklahoma this year, great. But next year, you have to beat Oklahoma at home. Like, you have to beat them. I think next year, I don't think Sherman Moore gets fired this year. That's like, we can, it's not happening this year. But next year, that seat's going to start to get warm if they don't start beating the teams they're supposed to beat. And if they lose to Ohio State this year, it's not the end of the world for them. But if you lose to Oklahoma, Ohio State, and I think they also have
USC
on the schedule, and USC
they lost to them already.
Yeah. If you lose these games that you're not supposed to lose, they're going to come out. They have Oregon on the schedule next year. You're going to have to win these. Like, if he misses the playoff next year too, they're going to start to question if he's the guy. And it rightfully should. Like, you watch what Ryan Day did coming off a national title. You went 8-5 or 9-4 or whatever it was. He's rolling. They're going to make the playoff again. They're probably not going to lose. And if they lose to anybody, it'd be Indiana in the Big Ten title game, because I don't expect them to lose to Michigan this year.
Well, I didn't expect them to lose to Michigan last year, and it happened. So I can't give an unbiased take on it. But listen, I think I'm going to give a take on it regardless, even if it does piss off the Michigan fans. I think Moore got hired just because he was he was available. He was the closest guy to the job. They didn't want to lose recruits. They thought keeping this guy keeps recruits. So they didn't have a full-blooded, search out there to go grab somebody. If Sherrone Moore loses to Ohio State, if Sherrone Moore loses 5 games this year, which I think could happen, they're paying that $3.5 million quarterback. They want somebody that's there that can win with them. And I think,
by the way, he's only making $6 million a year.
Yeah.
Like, his average of his contract is 5 years, $27 million. He's going to make $6 million a year. And there's a ton of bonuses that can push it up to 9.5. But that's cheap for a Michigan head coach. Dan Lanning's already at $10 million right now, guys. Like Dan Lanning's making $10 million a year. So,
yeah, by the way, not everybody, 57% of the audience thinks that the Lane train should stay parked in Oxford, that Lane Kiffin should stay at Ole Miss. New poll up on Dan Lanning. Go ahead and you guys pick on that. Let us know what you think. If Dan Lanning stays in Eugene where the cash is damn green, or does he chase the SEC dream in Florida or LSU?
By the way, Oregon fans will lose their ever-loving mind if Will Stein gets the head coaching job, and I'm not joking. They do not want him as head coach. So they've pretty much made it known they don't want him or LaFoy. They're actually concerned that Florida or LSU could do this.
Moving on. Lance Leipold. Now, this is another one. Might be controversial. But trust me, I heard from Kansas fans this weekend. They are nonplussed about the Kansas State thing. They are very, very unhappy about the Kansas State thing.
Yeah.
They are highly pissed off about the Kansas State thing. And I completely understand where they're coming from as an Ohio State fan, what it's like to keep losing to your rivals. We've mentioned Lance Leipold before. Last week we talked about it. Former grad assistant under Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin, was a coach at University of Wisconsin Whitewater, won a couple national championships there. Do we think he would leave? One, do we think Kansas will fire him? I mean, I have a hard time believing that, but do we think Kansas would fire him? Two, do we believe even if Kansas wouldn't fire him, would he take the job? And I'm going to put the job out there right now. The job is Wisconsin, because I don't think there's any other job that he would. I don't think there's any other job he would be offered.
I'm gonna come out and say this: if he loses this weekend, Oklahoma State,
well,
oh boy, see, it's gonna get hot. But the remainder of the year is home with Oklahoma State, at Arizona, at Iowa State, home with Utah. They should go 2-2, maybe 3-1 in that schedule. And I say maybe because Iowa State flip a coin, you don't know which version shows up. But they should beat Arizona and they should beat Oklahoma State without a problem. Utah is probably the one that they will lose. But they're 4-4 guys. They went 5-7 last year, but they won like 4 straight games at one point last year.
Yeah, at the end of the year, they caught on fire.
Yeah, like they beat BYU. They were beating playoff teams, and you're like, oh God, Arizona State put a halt to that. But I don't know if they're going to. I don't think he gets fired. I think the only job that he will leave for, I think, would end up being Wisconsin. And I think Wisconsin would be stupid to not hire him. When we talk about resources, Kansas is a basketball school.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas,
sure, but they've invested in football. To be fair,
they've started investing in football. To be fair, but they're not investing at the level of Wisconsin is right now, or in Iowa or Minnesota. Those are the 3 places I could see him leaving in a heartbeat. Which, Iowa, Kirk Ferentz is getting close to retiring. Maybe he would leave for that too. Maybe let's say Kirk Ferentz retired next year. Would he leave for that? I think he would. Outside of that, I think he should stay where he is unless he really wants that Wisconsin job.
What do you think, Pickles? Should he stay or should he go?
I don't think if he misses a bowl game, the calls from Kansas to fire him might get a little louder, although given Kansas' track record, I think he gets a little more leeway. They're rebuilding the stadium. They're investing a lot in the program. For me, whether he's fired or not, I think it should be Wisconsin or bust. It's a better job. It's a better resource job. And he's got all of the connections in the world. I understand that doesn't guarantee any kind of success, but it certainly helps when you're familiar and you were a grad assistant at the program at one time. So you're not starting from zero in terms of familiarity. And I actually like his brand of football. I like what he's done at Kansas. I mean, not disrespecting any of the Jayhawks, but they were a first or second from last type team for a long time, and he changed that culture. That kind of turnaround at a program with the resources of Wisconsin, that could have them contending for a conference in short order. So
I mean, the big thing is his quarterback's done after this year.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he's won a lot of games with him. I mean, the year before last year, he got hurt. It was Daniels. I want to say his name is Daniels. I don't know why. But the other kid came in, the Polynesian kid. I can't remember his name. But he came in and he won a bunch of ball games for them and kept them in the Big 12 title hunt. And eventually they just faded. But at some point, you got to ask, they had that 8-9 win season. You got to ask, are they, is the seat getting a little hot or, but it's Kansas, guys. Like, Mo, and if your team had gone like 1-11 every year for like 7 years, if you won 5 games, you'd be ecstatic. You could do that for a couple of years, right? Especially if you have a 1-9 win season, like you'd be ecstatic.
I agree, but the fact is, if he has a losing season this year, along with his record against the rival Kansas State,
that's what hurts him the most.
That's what's hurting him the most. And I understand they've invested in football. If you're the guy who gave them $300 million, and I mean, at the end of the day, we haven't really talked about it, but for some of these Big 12 schools, and these ACC schools, they're chasing to be in the Power 2. Kansas does not want to show up to the Power 2 with a resume of a losing football program. And it's been a few years, I think, since their basketball program won a title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next year, this is their non-conference slate is LIU, Missouri, and Middle Tennessee. I mean, they also have Oklahoma State, West Virginia on the schedule, BYU, Baylor, UCF, and TCU and Utah. They also have Arizona State and London.
Good gravy. That's a rough schedule.
It's a rough one.
Conference-wise, that's rough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, his schedule next year does not favor him being, like, the seat's going to get hot, I think, like, depending on how it plays out. But they almost beat Missouri this year, guys. So.
Yeah, but almost doesn't count.
Sure. But I'm fairly certain they're going to play that Missouri game in Kansas City. Because it's a home game, so they may end up playing it in Kansas City, or in the new bird's nest. I have no idea what they're calling it, but it looks like a bird's nest.
Yeah, that's a good question. For the record, the poll for Dan Lanning was "Stay, damn it, quack quack." 71% think Dan Lanning should actually stay in Eugene. Go get a tan, Dan. Only got 29%. So they think he should.
Not shocked.
They think, yeah. So,
I mean, here's the thing. Again, LSU, would you want to deal with that? The AD is not leading your hiring. The Board of Regents is, or Board of Governors or whatever it is. Like, the governor came out today and then was like, we're not doing this again. We're not giving out a bunch of money. So, I get where he's coming from. He's like, I'm protecting taxpayer dollars, but at the same time, it's like, what taxpayer?
Guess what? Those taxpayers aren't worried about their dollars when they go to vote. They're worried about having a nationally relevant football program that wins championships.
Yeah, I don't think they want a fiscally responsible team that doesn't win. Trust me. Ryan Day is the highest paid public employee in the state of Ohio, and Ohio taxpayers are perfectly fine with it. You know why? Because he won a national championship. Yeah, it's the same thing in Washington. Jed Fish is the highest paid public person in the state.
Yeah. Why?
Totally okay with it.
If it's me and I'm Leipold, I'd want some assurances from Kansas.
I need some monetary assurances. Like
monetary assurances.
I'm not talking for me. I'm talking for the players.
But, I mean, listen, UW Whitewater, grad assistant under Barry Alvarez, I would not fault him. If Wisconsin fires Fickle as they should, I would not fault him for taking that job if he was offered. I would not begrudge him for taking a job with more money that's going to offer him more resources that's in the Power 2. Now, Kansas might have to make a jump of their own and go grab a name. Because I don't think I think with this beauty contest that's going on between the ACC and the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the SEC, I think you've got to have a winner. So,
yeah. Mike Gundy to Kansas. Woo!
By the way, Lance Leipold makes $6.2 $6 million a year.
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. No offense, Kansas, but I'm surprised.
Yeah, they paid him once he had that winning
Yeah,
season.
they paid him
Yeah,
well.
they did. He got the extension that did it, and it's like $6 million a year is right in the middle of the Big Ten. It's like not in the upper levels, but it's, you know, it puts you in that middle tier between like about 5 down. And we have to say that because we don't know what Northwestern's coach is making. We can guess on what Riley's making because USC coach, he makes about $14 million a year. That's
Well, we can guess that Northwestern's also going to be in the market for a
Yeah.
coach this year.
I don't know
and
if they will. They're winning. They're winning. Every time I think they're going to do it, they like.
And listen,
guy pulls it out.
if they beat Michigan, they're for sure going to do it. But I don't know. Last one on the list. Should he stay or should he go?
Oof.
Mike Norvell at Florida State. Now this is one where this is actively being discussed as we're doing this show. They're not going to make a decision till the end of the year. That's what we've been told. But does Norvell, should he stay in Tallahassee or should they tell him to go?
Now, that's important. He is also one of these guys with a $50 million buyout. And like it's $100 million, they said, in total to get rid of him and his coordinators. Got to send him packing. You got to get your Florida State. Since you started 13-0, since you started 13-0 in 2023, you have won like 6 ball games, 5-6 ball games. That's it in 2 years, and you haven't won an ACC game since you beat Louisville for the ACC title back in 2023. That's your last win in the ACC. You got say it out loud. You got throttled by your rival Miami. You've been blown out. You lost at Stanford. You lost to Stanford. It's like, why would you keep this? What this is like, and I'm not saying that's embarrassing for Stanford or to lose to Stanford. They're not a bad team this year, but God damn it, you're Florida State. You're not supposed to lose these kinds of games. You're supposed to blow these teams out. Stanford's not a great team. They're a good team, maybe okay, more so. But you're supposed to blow out teams like Stanford. The nerds aren't supposed to be able to do it.
Right, especially when you take into account the fact that Florida State, one of their main arguments to adding Stanford and Cal is it would turn the competitive level of the conference, the ACC conference, down. And then to go out there and lose to them after the fact, very bad. Listen, they kept Mike Norvell around because Mike Norvell had to, he'd won 13-0. Jimmy Sexton had churned up the coaching carrot. Oh, who's going to take over at Alabama? It's going to be one of my clients. This client, give him a raise. 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 He was able to churn that up to where now he's making buku bucks, and he has a huge money deal that he has, it's a buyout. And look, we're talking about governors. Ron DeSantis, he can't be happy. He's looking at the fact that he's going to have probably $75 million in taxpayer money that goes to buyouts. And that doesn't even include signing new coaches if Norvell gets booted out at Florida State.
Yeah. Like, it's wild to me. Like, I understand why you kept him around after last season. You go, okay, well, but some things happened that didn't go your way. There were some injuries and things like that. Quarterback regressed. That's not on him. Like, thought you had the right guys. But he fired the coordinators, brought in better coordinators, or so we thought. Beat Alabama, that gained them some stuff. They were 3-0, and they haven't won since.
Yeah.
You have never been above Stanford in the standings in the ACC, and you didn't want them there. Like at some
Right.
point, Florida State's eating some crow here and some humble pie, because there's no way there's no way you sit back and you go, hey, we're going to do this. You know, we talked about the ACC refinancing all their stuff and giving the top programs money, etc. Florida State's not getting a penny of that. They're going to be in they're going to be in one of the lower tiers, not going to be the top one, because you can't win. Like, Florida State has to make a financial decision and make a financial decision soon. He's
Absolutely
not going to get you there. I thought he was a great hire when they pulled him away from Memphis, and it showed up 2 years ago, and he's like winning ball games, and everybody's telling me that they would beat Washington, they would beat Texas, they could beat, Michigan. You barely could beat Louisville, like, with a backup quarterback, who, by the way, where is that kid? I haven't seen him since he played against Georgia. Kid's gone. Like, gone.
yeah.
Maybe it's time to see what you have and let it roll. But
it's got to be rough, because you're right, that incentive money, that's, they fought for that to get that incentive money, and now all of a sudden maybe not. That's going to be rough when you see teams like Georgia Tech and Virginia are being successful. Kenneth Maynard brought this up in chat. Kenneth, let me pull your comment up here, because I think it's an important one.
I missed this.
Georgia Tech and Virginia getting incentive money.
Yeah.
These were the schools that were supposed to be on the outside looking in at incentive money.
These are the schools you wanted to sue for saying yes.
And Florida State's not the only one. Clemson is having a down year for the second year in a row.
North Carolina is rebuilding, so there's
North Carolina. I mean, Miami's doing well. They've had their one letdown loss, but they're still doing well. I haven't seen the ratings. I'd be interested. Maybe I'll have Wild Ute do a look at that and do a Wild Ute University to see what the ratings are for the ACC so far this year.
I think it's important to figure out where the ratings are, because that's where all the money is based on. But
right. I mean,
again, Florida State's going to still be high because people still watch them, and they got the boost from playing Alabama and being ranked when they played Miami.
Right. And, name brand. I've always said this. There are some people who want to watch a team lose.
Yeah.
More than
hate watch is a real thing, man. Hate watch is a real thing. We all do it. We all I watch Oregon just to see if they'll lose. Watch Michigan to see if they'll lose. Don't say you haven't.
I have. I'm not gonna lie.
We all watch that. You watch that national title game and you're going, Washington just beat the crap out of them.
Yeah. No, I've watched it.
Every Michigan fan watched last year's national title game hoping Notre Dame would win, even though they kind of rooted for a meteor.
I think that was probably the case more than anything else.
Yeah.
They were rooting for a meteor above all else. Pickles, we have you back. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, Elon and his internet sucked me into the shadow realm for a second. Sorry about that. I think the FSU board needs to just quit being indecisive and make the call. There's no future for Norvell. You can't recover this. Had he not beaten Alabama, I think he'd already be fired. But it's been that bad. Again, I'm not a contract wizard. I'm sure there's certain dates and times that necessitate certain amounts of money being paid out that could be holding these things up. But in terms of coaching, and especially with the portal being limited for these kids, they get 30 days. I think early bird gets the worm in terms of you just got to be decisive and make the call if you know he's not going to be continuing.
Well, the portal opens up during the playoff.
Right, but for the school when they
coach. Yeah, when they fire the coach. But I'm saying the portal see, the problem is your Florida State. If you fire him, who do you bring in?
I'm sure they're shooting for all the same guys, your Kiffins, your Drakowitz, your Lannings.
And again, that's the issue, that if they wait too long, now we're in the playoff, which begins, basically a week after the Heisman Trophy. you're waiting so long, and then you only have a short period of time in January to kind of like get recruits and get like. This is a pain in the ass if you're Florida State. You have got to make a decision. You have to decide soon. Also, to top it off, it's like, does a bowl game? They're not making a bowl game. Let's say they do magically make a bowl game. It might happen. That might save his job if he can get 6 wins. But if they make, does that count as like the end of the year? What is the end of, like you said, Pickles, what is the end of the year date on his contract that the buyout lowers?
Yeah.
They're going to wait until they know that buyout lowers.
I'm just saying I know that's the only reasonable explanation for not having already given him the chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, when it comes to Florida State, I had a crazy thought, and this is hilarious. Talking about the Louisiana governor, can you imagine being the governor of Florida and Florida State and Florida raising up the bids for like a Dan Lanning and just keep raising the bids until, they're both making 12 and a half. Whoever takes each job is making 12 and a half and $13 million a year.
The alma mater of the Florida governor is Florida, so this might end up happening anyway.
That's right.
He might tell Florida State they can't have Dan Lanning. So
might tell Dan Lanning,
tell them they can't afford Dan Lanning.
The Leopold poll ended up that they want him to go north to the land of cheese and beer by 67% to 33%. Sorry, Kansas fans.
I'm all about it. Like, I think he would do great things there.
Yeah.
He definitely can recruit the trenches because,
like I said,
to lift the 300-pound kid.
Yeah, to lift the curse, one full season, power I, every down. Let's go. Go for it on 4th.
All right. While we're letting the last poll run, we'll do the one for the road that Sergeant Pickles invented. Sergeant Pickles, will start for you. What is your one for the road?
One for the road. I already expressed it to you guys in chat, but championships before 1974 don't count, and polls before November are pointless. That is all for today.
I'm only going to allow that 1974 thing because it means that Ohio State has more national championships than Michigan.
Yeah, I have a legitimate reason for it, but nobody cares about the reason. So,
Norvell, it was not even close. 100% voted to chop him.
Yep.
Nobody voted to keep him. Becky, what's your one for the road?
My one for the road is, it's sad to hear about people like Nick Mangold passing away from kidney disease. Here in Seattle, we had a former Husky and NBA player, Nate Robinson, same issues. His kidneys were failing, and he sought a donor. He was able to find a donor, and he's still with us today. But I can't stress enough that if you can and are able to, please go get tested, see if you're able to be a donor for anybody, and you potentially could save a life. You don't need 2 kidneys to live. One is fine when you're healthy. But if you're not sure where to get tested or how, check with your doctor. They'll send you in the right direction. But it's sad to hear about people. My heart breaks for the Ohio State family and Nick Mangold's family and everybody in the New York Jets family as well. Everybody who knew him. But we can prevent these things in the future for other people. Let's get tested, see if you qualify, and donate a kidney if you can.
Yeah, I have a nephew who's still with us because when he was a kid, he got leukemia, and at the last minute was able to find a bone marrow transplant donor. So it's important, and it does make a big difference.
Absolutely. Cancer survivor myself, so I cannot donate my organs. But prior to that, at every DMV, they will ask you this. Would you be willing to donate your organs in case of an accident? Just say yes. This idea that they're going to be looking for your organs before saving your life is ridiculous. I've heard that stupid argument. It's dumb. Like Pickle said, we need donors for everything, from bone marrow to everything. So definitely go get tested. Easiest test in the world, guys. They just take a little bit of blood. That's it. You can get tested for basically almost any type of transplant at that point. But yes, organ donation saves lives. Please consider it. You go to the DMV next time to renew your license. Tell them yes. Make that little check mark on the back. You'll be fine. And you'll help save a life. You know, Nick Mangold, just great guy. I cannot tell you guys enough about how great Nick Mangold was on and off the field. Real genuine human being. Treated everybody as an equal. Never treated himself as a better than. You know, he would say hello to everybody. He would high five everybody. He would fist bump people. I went to school with him. He was a great, great dude. And it's sad that you know, he died at the age of 41 from unfortunately couldn't find a donor quick enough. And when you're that young, you're kind of lower on the donor list. So definitely second what Becky said, second what Sergeant Pickle said, third what I said. And we will see you guys next Wednesday for another episode of The Tape here with the Big Ten Mafia. Want to thank Becky and Pickles for joining us tonight. And we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.